Are you always improving yourself? Hey, this is your race-based coach, and today we will go over never stop improving yourself. Okay, so there are times in my life where I've, just let things go passively and didn't really improve myself, and I could see that it carried on to my swimmers. So, especially when I was doing traditional max yardage training, every day the training would be different. I would always get frustrated why my swimmers were not doing as well as I want them to. And I was getting frustrated because of the practices, the sets that I was assigning to the swimmers weren't really helping the swimmers improve because, you know, the sets were random. I would make it up on top of my head, and it wasn't really measurable or trackable. So that's when I found out about race-based training, the USRPT, and that really kind of cleared things up a little bit and helped me, standardize my training program for my swimmers and really pushed myself and pushed my swimmers to become a lot better. And you know that encouraged me to never stop improving myself. Okay, and you should do the same thing too. You should never stop improving yourself. Okay, so one thing is that you learn from others. Okay, I don't know how many times I read the USRPT documentation, the step by step, and all those articles on the USRPT website over and over again, just to understand at the very beginning of starting race pace training. I read it at least 20 to 50 times over and over again, just to get the basic understandings of it. And I learned from that, and it really helped me improve my race pace training, improved the workouts that I gave to my swimmers, and also improved myself as a swim coach, and helping others, become a lot better and faster. And through this YouTube channel, I want to help you and your swimmers get a lot faster, have them get a lot better, and then as you as a coach, push race pace training and see how it benefits you, and how you can learn a little bit from what I can do. If you don't learn from what I do, that's fine. If you can take a tiny, like 1% of what I do and implement it, and it helps, I'll be. I mean, I appreciate it, and I'm really grateful that you guys are supporting me and helping me, and watching my videos. Okay, so again, learning from others, that's pretty much one thing. That's that's the main thing. Okay, I like learning from others, and you know seeing how your elders, how they did it, and how we could, how I look back at it and I see, oh, how can I improve this method or this training program. So that's what I did with the race-based training. I looked at it, I went through some trial and errors, and then saw what needed to be improved from my point of view, and then implementing and then testing it out. Okay, so and then the next thing is, don't wait and just start. Okay, I it took me a while to really start race pace training. I mean, again, I read it. I read the documentation is 20 to 50 times, and then never really wanting to start it because I was worried about the results that, um, I was just worried about the results my swimmers would get. They would not do well. But I finally started it, and then I did it for 2 weeks before a swim meet, and then the swimmers were really improving. I mean, you could see like the lack of endurance when they're doing their 200 set, but that's when we were only doing 25s and not really doing 50s to prepare for the 200 race pace sets. Okay, so again, And then same thing with this YouTube channel. I held it off for 2 years, 3 years since I started race. The past 2 to 3 years, I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel teaching other people, teaching you how to implement race-based training and how you can understand it better. Besides reading the documentations 20 to 50 times over and over again. Just to help you breeze past the years of trial and error and actually implement it right away instead of you going through that trial and error on your own or by yourself. And then same thing with you overcoming that fear of starting it and then continuing race pace training. Okay. And then the next thing about never stop improving yourself is you gotta learn through others trials and error and their mistakes. Okay. So again, I've been doing race pace over 5 years, and it's been a long road. A lots of trial and error. Fixing up what the sets that I do. You know, like 25s versus 50s. So I started doing 25s for the first 2 years, and then I switched over to 50s, and then for like the distance events, I was doing 50s to get the swimmers ready for their distance events, and then that didn't seem to work, so I switched over to 75s, and then that worked better than the 50s. Then I tried out the hundreds, and then I noticed that the hundreds worked a lot better than the 75s and the 50s. So right now, currently, I'm sticking with hundreds race pace sets that with 100 reps, doing hundreds, and then that really helps the swimmers get ready for their distance events. Even though I'm not a distance coach, I don't like doing distance. I don't like swimmers doing distance. There are swimmers that want to do it, and then I have to fully support them doing it. And they get their sectional level. The reason why I think that they're not going higher is because of my attitude towards distance swimming, and you know they're also sprinters too at the same time, and they like to focus more on the hundreds and the 200 events. Okay, and then the last thing is being positive. You always have to be positive when it comes to improving yourself, because you're just telling yourself that you're getting better. You're getting better, and being positive helps not only you but the swimmers around you. If Because the swimmers can tell that if you're having a bad day or if you're mad or pissed off at practice, they know that, and then they're gonna avoid you, or like, oh, the coach is pissed off, let's like stay away from him, or let's try not to do something to um, make him mad. And like when it comes to encouraging swimmers, because they're scared going into finals, or they're worried that they're not going to do well, you being positive, and then you being a positive influence on them and positively motivating them to get through each event, that it really helps with their race. You can see it. You can see them carrying it into their race and then doing well. And then for those that are like feeling down and depressed and worried about how they do, and then when they go and swim that event and they're not thinking positively, it would drastically you know make make their swim worse, make their swim terrible. They're not going to do as well as being positive. Okay, so again, these four things: learn from others, don't wait, and just start. Learn through others' trial and errors and mistakes, and being positive. Okay, so these are the four things that I like to think about when trying to improve myself. um, so with the race pace training, I always try to find ways to make it better, make it. And how I like to say that it's measurable and trackable. When you measure things and you track things, you can eliminate outlying factors that affect the swimmers, and then that once you eliminate it, you have like this clear cut step by step standard or program where you know what works and you know what doesn't work, and because you've tried it, and then you there's trial and error, and then through that it's like the scientific method, trial and error, and then you have the hypothesis, and then you just keep working through it, and then when you figure out what works and what doesn't work, you'll not do what doesn't work, and then you'll just keep making it better and better. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do with this RacePace program, and that's what I'm trying to do, help you and your swimmers get better too. Okay, so again, I have my RacePace 101 courses, and I do have other courses with it that I do offer. And if you're interested in those courses, it's in the links below, and then yeah, you can check it out, and then you can learn through my trial and errors so that you don't make those mistakes again. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.